Hey guys, and welcome! There's another tier list video. I'm glad I'm actually getting back into these. And today, we're going to be doing Pixar. I would do Disney, but when I looked at the list, there were a lot of Disney movies I have not seen. A lot of the older generation. Like Hercules, Hunchback of Notre Dame, which I do know are good movies, but I just never watched them. I'll probably get around to watching them as soon as I can do that tier list. But until then, I searched Pixar, and I was like, hey, I've seen actually almost all of these. There's only a few that I've didn't see. I'll show you guys what they are. But I do know Pixar was like a really big thing for me growing up. I used to love watching it. Family Cars, Incredibles was my absolute favorite growing up. Wally was like a good old timer, but look at this list. There were a lot that I know of, so let's just get right into it, I guess. It's gonna be a pretty short list since there's only what? I don't even know how many this is. 20? About 20 of them. So that's slightly more. But yeah, so Up. I actually recently rewatched Up because I was bored and it was on Disney Plus. I would say I recommend Up. I wouldn't say it's really good because watching back to it, I think only a few parts of it were really good. AKA the beginning part, as well as seeing the growth of the main character. I forgot his name, the old man. But overall, I don't think it was too great of a movie. Like, looking back, I do know growing up I loved it, but looking back, it's like, alright. There were definitely a few parts that I was like, I'm gonna skip. But yeah, I say it's recommended. I like it a lot. Oh, I didn't even go over the tiers. There are the must-watch tiers, really good tiers, recommend, it was like an alright movie. Bad, which I don't think any of the movies are gonna fall into if I'm being completely honest. Bad is one of those tiers where I'm like, I don't think any of these movies were necessarily bad, like genuinely. And then never seen. I think there's only 4 of them in this category. Alright, original Toy Story. I think the original Toy Story was really, I would recommend it. I think it was a really good kickstart to the original, the Toy Story franchise. But I think Toy Story is one of those series where the movies, as more of it came out, got better. Which I know is kind of, it's the original. How do you not like the original? But I gotta say, some of the other Toy Stories got me really, really more emotional than the first one. The first one, I get it. Introduction to toys becoming alive. But Toy Story 2, 3, and 4? Holy shit. Alright, Monsters University. I think this is Monsters University. Yeah, that's Monsters University. I think Monsters University was pretty I think it was a sequel. It's the sequel to Monsters, Inc., which it goes into the backstory of how Sully and Mike Wazowski met. Also give more of a backstory to Randall. But, in my opinion, I think it's pretty compared to the original Toy Story. Not Toy Story, Monsters, Inc. I think this was more like a money grab to expand the world of Monsters, Inc. But in my opinion, they should have just made it I wouldn't say, I think they just left Monsters Inc. as it was. I think it was good alone as a standoff. Finding Dory. I gotta say, I think Finding Dory was pretty as well. Maybe I just don't remember too much about it, but I feel again, it's one of those movies where, oh, let's make a sequel to the movie, but instead, I feel it was more of a cash grab than anything else. I don't think it was anything too special. And they kind of really played on what I just guess I just don't understand. My favorite character in it was the octopus, I do admit. Even though he was such a mood. I love him. I feel like he's the only part that I remember of this because he's the only one I cared for. Alright. Finding Nemo. I think Nemo really, really good. Shark bait, ooh ha ha. God, I don't think it is in a must watch. Actually, I think Finding Nemo is either in a must watch tier or really, really good tier. I don't think there was any part of Nemo that I skipped. I think I watched all of it and all of its whole. So I think I might put this in a must watch, genuinely. Which one is this one? Is this Cars 3? No, this is Cars 2, right? No, this is Cars 2. I don't know which one this is. Hold up. I'm gonna scroll in so that I can see it. Cars 2, yeah, okay. Cool. Sorry about that. Cars 2, International. I think I'm not sorry. I did not mean to put it in bad tier. I just wanted to like move it so I could see it. I must say, Cars 2, despite being like, hey, why are you mixing like airplanes and like agents with cars? Overall, I genuinely think it was a really good movie. I think, were there any parts that I skipped? I think there were some parts, but I think it was still a really good movie, genuinely, for like a Cars series. This is The Incredibles. Must watch. Highly recommend. I'm biased, I absolutely admit that. But like, I gotta say, The Incredibles, really, really good show. Or not show, movie. And they had like the Incredible shorts, which I also loved enjoying. Like, it just added more to the world and I loved it. Were there parts that I skipped about this? I think I'm gonna put this behind Nemo. Mostly because Nemo, I don't think I skipped any parts to. But Incredibles, I think there were some parts that were a bit mundane. Actually, I'm gonna put this in really good. Top of really good. I think there were a few parts that I skipped. Mostly because I was like, I've seen this before. It's just blah, 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 blah. Talking. Ratatouille. Must watch. Absolutely a masterpiece of a film. I think it's higher than Nemo. Because at least with Ratatouille, I genuinely loved like everything about it. There were characters that were actually human that I could relate to. As well like being able to understand and see like they actually addressed one of the biggest things that like in with movies with animals, how come the like animals talk, but then the humans like it's all in English, but like they actually show like the like Ratatouille and the guy's name who I completely forgot. They don't understand each other, but they understand each other on a psychological path, and I love that. Also, I love how the guy got with that girl, that French girl. Mwah. Love her. She's so nice. So great. Love that character. The Good Dinosaur. I actually never seen. Believe it or not, I've never seen that. Let's see. Which one is this one? I know there's another Cars movie right here. The all-new 2016 Cars. And then this is Cars 3. Got it. Okay. So this is the original Cars film. I think the Cars film was really good. I think I like it more than the original. No, there were lots of parts that I skipped. Actually, no, I'm gonna put this in top of really recommend. I think Up is better than it though. Cause I remember in Cars, there were a lot of parts I skipped. Like, the whole time he got to Radiator Springs, I just kind of skipped. If I'm being completely honest here, other than the parts where they introduced like big reveals of like the Hudson Hornet when he discovered that, I watched that part. But like, him building the road, him training, him just hanging out with Motor. I understand it's building like relationships and bonds. I, for myself, didn't enjoy it. Maybe because I already seen it and I was like, this is boring, past. But I feel like in movies there should be aspects about that I should be more thrilled to watch. Maybe I'm just an awful human being who doesn't like watching those parts, but who knows. Cars 3. I think it was an all-around movie. I think it's better than Dory. I still remember more parts, like when he went to the underground racing place and almost got destroyed. How he was like... It basically, Cars 3 is about him becoming too old of a model to compete with the new hybrid cars. And so, his generation is falling out. So he tries to come back and like become a better racer. But instead, plot twist, which isn't really a plot twist, he instead takes on a student who he teaches to race. Which I think morally and like story-wise, that's fabulous. Like, they also hinted to this with the Hudson Hornet. Like how he was a great racer, retired, but then he found a new passion in training McQueen. McQueen takes that same mantle, but instead, I feel like they kind of drawn too much things on the Hudson Hornet. Because instead of like, you know, McQueen learning from Hudson Hornet, his mentor, the new girl, who I forgot, I think her name's like B or something, or V, she takes inspiration and takes a move out of the Hudson Hornet's book, not out of McQueen's book. So I feel like if it took a book out of McQueen's, like if McQueen did something original other than relying on Hudson Hornet, then it would have been such a more of a better film, you know? Because I just feel like story-wise, it's just relying on that like legacy of the Hudson Hornet too much. And yes, he is a legend in racing, absolutely. But like, as a mentor to mentee ratio, he should be learning something from her, or she should be learning something from him, not from his mentor. A Bug's Life. I think I would recommend this. I have not watched this film for about like maybe 8 years. I know it's been a long time. I'm old, but I think it's still a pretty good film. I think like it shows the struggles that insects has to have. It like has a really good plot. I think like solving problems wise is really good. Like genuinely, this is a great film. Incredibles 2. I gotta say, I might just slide this one up to really good or must watch. I think both the Incredibles are like top tier. I feel like I don't want to put Incredibles 2 over Incredibles 1, but at the same time I'm like, ooh, Incredibles 2 was such a good film. I remember a lot about it, maybe because it was more recent, but maybe like, actually, I'll put Mr. Incredible up here. Actually, no, I'm like actually like I don't know what I want to do. Like both of them are such good films. I think I like the 2 more than 1, but there were still parts of Incredibles 2 that I skipped when rewatching it. Her fight with Screenslaver, like the pizza guy version of him, I did not watch because I got bored. But I watched everything else about this film. Like it was so good, and I think because of that, even though I skipped like one part, I'm putting it in must watch. At least the bottom of it, because I did skip some of it. Wall-E, must watch. High tier right there. Put this slightly behind Ratatouille. Wall-E, masterpiece of a film. I'm glad that he never did like a sequel to it, because that would ruin the whole thing. Like, the plot twist. Okay, I gotta admit, it was not a secret that the robot was evil. But like, he's not evil in the sense like that's what he was programmed for. Okay, no, that's exactly what he was programmed for. Not for evil, essentially. But it's a matter of perspective. The robot was given one clear drive, and that was like to make sure humanity like returns to Earth only after it is safe to come back. He was only doing what he was programmed for. And I think like, as for a plot, like, he's not like, oh, I want to like kill people just because I want to hurt them. No, he was like, it's a moral dilemma, if you get that. Anyways, but Wall-E is an adorable creature. Eve shows progress and like denying her code to save the one that she developed feelings for. And I gotta admit, it's kind of weird how like robots are developing feelings, but like, such a great movie and such many great different like sudden reveals, and I loved it. I gotta admit, the ending like drawings, like cartoon drawings about like the aftermath, absolutely adorable. Monsters Inc. Another really good film. I would put it in front of... No, I say behind. I say behind Cars 2. Monsters Inc. Really good standalone. I don't like how it had a sequel. But I think introducing this concept and having like really lovable and adorable creatures and seeing them be afraid of a tiny child, absolutely adorable, and I loved it. And seeing how like characters progress and change, how like the CEO of the place turned out to be evil, Vandal was a bitch. Like, great reveals, lovable characters. I don't think I skipped too many parts. I think maybe I skipped 1 or 2 boring, mundane parts, but I haven't watched it in a while, so don't quote me on that. Still a really good film. Highly, like, I recommend, like, it's really good. You should watch, genuinely. Now I'm saying that I feel like these 2 roles should be switched. Really good should be under here, and recommended should be this tier. So I'm gonna actually change this to recommended. Like, highly recommend. And this one is really good. Yeah. Inside Out. I gotta say, I highly recommend this one too. This one took me on like a roller coaster of emotions. Seeing like a little kid like struggling so much in the household with like, I think the plot point was like she's moving to a new school, new there, going through a lot of emotions, tries to run away, blah blah. But like, I love this show. Like, not show. I keep saying show. This movie was really good. I don't remember too much about it because I don't remember too much, but I think it was really good. Also, I want to point out how the Emoji Movie is not on this, and I'm so happy it's not on here. All right, now is Coco. I gotta say, I think this one is one of the newer ones, other than Incredibles, where I'm like, it was such a good film. Like, music, beautiful. It's the only one with music. Like actual, like, this had a song in it, yes. This had a song in it, but this one had like multiple different songs, and I love that. Maybe I'm just a sucker for musicals, but like, I love the plot reveal where like this guy, the random skeleton that was like begging for his help, turned out to be his dad. The evil villain was the musician at this whole time. God, that was like the plot reveal of like, oh, those two skeletons are friends, but one backstabbed the other and the other one doesn't know it. God, such a good film. And yes, you might be saying like, oh, that was obvious. How could you not see that? I want to go and experience a movie without expecting or seeing anything so that I can get a genuine reaction for it. I feel like, for me, when I dig too much into a movie the first time I'm watching it, it kind of ruins the experience for me. Like, if I'm watching, like, a horror movie and I'm like, oh, don't go into that closet, I feel like I'm prepping myself to be scared. Meanwhile, if I go into the concept of the idea of what is behind, or, like, not really what is behind the closet, but, like, oh, he's, like, opening a door, and then, like, something, like, pops out at me. I'm like, oh, shit. Like, watching it a second time, I'm like, yes, maybe it's not as scary, but then I can analyze it and be like, okay, these characters are stupid for doing these stupid things. Or, like, oh, looking back, you can see these types of, like, aesthetics and reveals. But I feel like for Coco, when you go into the mind, or, like, movies in general, when you go into mindset of, like, don't overthink about, like, that scene in particular, because it'll probably, like, mess up the rest of the movie for you, because you'll be dwelling on that one scene. But if you go into it watching it the first time, like, watching it just for the story itself, and just for, like, seeing what would happen, it just makes that experience so much more better. Maybe that's just me. Toy Story 2. Oh yeah, I guess that's why I loved Coco so much. It was such a good movie. Toy Story 2. I think out of all the Toy Story franchise, this is my favorite. I think it has the most iconic scene. I think Toy Story 2 and 3 are like borderline for my two favorites. I did not think I'd be talking about Toy Story for like movies this long for only like 20 of them, but like still, damn. Toy Story 2, evil pickaxe guy, good reveal. How they added Jesse like as like a new character for them, really good idea. I hated that like guy who stole Woody in the first place. He was a douche. That's just not something you do. Woody being hurt and then being repaired. That iconic scene of Woody being like fixed. Beautiful. Masterpiece. Love Toy Story 2. Toy Story 3. This one about this like the Happy Sunshine place. I think it's really high on the recommended. I think going in you could understand like the happy toys were evil. I think it was pretty obvious. But like again, going into myself like, oh, that was a good reveal. I feel like even if you don't reveal that, it's like pretty hinted towards because they revealed that early on. They revealed that like a lot of the toys were afraid and like this place is not as it seems. They revealed that a lot. They should have like, I guess, made it more like clean when revealing it. But other than that, I think I highly recommend it. Absolutely love the film. Beautiful. Brave. I think hot take. It was pretty maybe it's because I slept through the movie. Yeah, I know, I slept through this movie. So what? What are you gonna do? Fight me? I feel like, at least for me, maybe I should just put this into the not scene. I slept through it, so maybe I didn't see all of it. So maybe that's why. I do know it's really good. I know it did really well. I know like the whole thing is about like her establishing herself and defining her own role in like the kingdom. But I feel like it's also pretty Onward, also never seen. Toy Story 4. A lot of different concepts to Toy Story 4. I think it was good. But I feel like they should have stopped at 3, if you know what I mean. Yes, 3 had unanswered questions. But I feel like Toy Story 4 was like, I feel like it was a lot more weird. It's like, it took it to a new level. To a level that I didn't like. If that makes sense. Soul, never watched. Luca, never watched. Turning Red. I gotta say, despite everything, looking at it purely through a story-wise lens, really good movie. It had really cringy parts, absolutely, but I think it was a really funny film, focused around like Asian, not really, I wouldn't say Asian, but like the whole point of it was like a girl going through puberty, puberty, and every time she like turned into the beast, it was like the sign of her on her period. I'm pretty sure, if I remember it correctly. But like, I think moral wise and like story based, I think it's really good. Like, genuinely, I think the idea of like, they never answered the question of like, yes, it's an ancestor trait that she can turn into that red panda, but why is everyone just okay with it? No one questioned it. And everyone was like, yeah, let's go with that. And like, it opens up a lot of questions. Like, after you watch the movie, it opens up a lot of questions. But objectively, I think it was a really, really sweet film. A girl growing up, defining her own place, actually denying her parents for the first few times. They referenced a K-pop group, and I think that was really fucking hilarious. And I think overall it's a really good film. I highly recommend it too. And then Buzz Lightyear, I just chose never to watch because I think Toy Story, that's ready. Yeah. And with that, I think this is a solid good place for my tier list. Ratatouille, WALL-E, Coco, Nemo, Incredibles 2, and Toy Story 2. Must-watch films. Absolutely love. Of course, if you're going to watch Toy Story 2 or any of the sequels, you gotta watch the first one first. That's exactly what I did with Into the Spider-Verse and Across the Spider-Verse. Don't regret it at all. Made like a lot more sense when like watching it. Love those films. I could rank Marvel films. Oh, that's gonna be my next tier list. But anyways, highly recommend Toy Story 3, Incredibles, Cars 2, Monsters Inc., Inside Out, and Turning Red. Really good ones are Up, Cars 3 specifically. No, Cars, that's regular Cars. Bug's Life, Toy Story, and Toy Story 4. And then movies were Toy Story or Cars 3, Monsters University, and Finding Dory. And then these are the ones I've never seen and probably will not see. Maybe Soul I'll watch. Everyone else probably not. With that being said, thank you guys so much for watching this tier list. Hope you guys enjoyed. Do you guys agree with me? Good for you guys. I don't know what else. This is just my opinion. I don't know what else to say. A lot of these tier lists are just my opinion. And yes, everyone could be like, when you're watching it, you could think like a different movie should be ranked somewhere else. Absolutely fine. But this is just my opinion. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Stay hydrated. Bye.